How old were you in 1980?
In 1980, I had just turned 29 years old.
Where did you live in the 80s?
I lived here in San Diego.
How would you describe the music in the 80s?
The music, as I remember, changed dramatically in the 80s. When I was 29 in 1980, what I remember is the movie Urban Cowboy came out. Before 1980, it was disco, which was really a reaction to John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever. So we were a bunch of sheep. And then in 1980, he came out with the movie Urban Cowboy, and it was country western. Bars and dancing, line dancing became the rage, and I remember that for the first 2 or 3 years. I remember looking for love in all the wrong places, and the devil
came back from Georgia.
Devil Came Back from Georgia, and different songs that I never had any interest in country western before or after, but for those couple years, that was a big rage.
What about later in the 80s?
That ended, and we got really sick of it, and so then it became really music that I wasn't that crazy about. It became kind of real glitzy, synthetic synthesizers, and I just didn't like the music after that. It was even Michael Jackson. I wasn't a big Michael Jackson fan. Madonna, I didn't like the themes. I didn't like the music. It was kind of a lost decade. I was a child of the 60s when there was better. I preferred the music, and I listened to a lot of the music of the 60s in the 80s.
Cool.
My name's Lorraine. I was 26 in 1980, if I can remember back then, because I'm only 24 now. Anyway, and I was living in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
How would you describe the music in the 1980s?
Well, it was quite different than what it is today. Much better, I must say. And luckily for my ears, I listened to a lot of R&B, a lot of Earth, Wind & Fire, and who else? Well, mostly Earth, Wind & Fire.
How did the music change during the 80s?
Well, yes. I mean, I have to say in the early 80s, we just finished going through disco, which was, for me, a lot of fun because I was out there discoing a lot. And then it pretty much, well, again, I was into a lot of R&B music, so it became a lot of, well, it became very sexual in a way. I'm going to get in trouble for it.
How old were you in 1980?
1980, I was 9,
Where did you grow up?
Encinitas, California.
What was your favorite type of music in the 80s?
Rock and roll, baby.
Did you go to a lot of concerts?
Oh, yeah.
What were the concerts like compared to today?
Compared to today, I would have to say they were more real.
What do you mean?
I mean, back in the 80s when rock and roll was catching on and really becoming mainstream, we would go to concerts to have fun. We would go to concerts to rock out. We would go to concerts to hook up with friends and have a good time. Nowadays, it just seems like people go because, you know, maybe they're supposed to, or they jump in the mosh pit because it's the cool thing to do. Back in the 80s, it was just what you did. It's a different vibe. It's a different feeling.
What kind of bands would you go see in concert?
All of them. Anything rock and roll, from glam rock to rock and roll to soft rock to hard rock to punk rock to hardcore to thrash metal.
What was the best concert you ever went to and why?
Metallica Brown Field down in San Diego.
Why is it the best concert?
Because it was an absolute scene. There was no real parking lot. There was no real entrance and exit. There was nobody in wherever we all parked our cars. We were playing tackle football on the cement and on the dirt lot. People were having fun, and the concert was unreal. The vibe, people were there to have fun and rock out. The mosh pits were raw and sweaty and nasty.
Thank you. Come on, you were doing so good. Oh my god. Practice that part.
John, you need some Alka-Seltzer?
I can't tell if I have to burp or not.
He was just about to play until you said that. You're not helping!
That's Pop Goes My Heart. Don't stop believing.